Hi, it's Tim from ORACLE-BASE.com. In this video we'll demonstrate the OAuth Authorization Code flow for Oracle REST Data Services. The authorization code flow is a three-legged process. The application redirects a user to a browser URL which prompts for credentials. Once authorized, the browser is redirected to a specified page with an authorization code as one of the parameters in the URL. This authorization code is used in a call to generate an access token, which is used to authorize calls to the protected resources. With the exception of the user confirmation, all the other steps in the flow should be handled by the application. All the legs will be presented separately in this example. This flow sounds complicated, but the important point to remember is the calling application never sees the user credentials. ORDS handles the user login and sends the authorization code back to the application so it can continue with the authorization process. I usually try to make the videos self-contained, but in this case it would mean repeating the whole of the first-party authentication video, so I'm assuming all the setup from that video is already complete. Before we start, we'll make sure the web service and first-party authentication is working as expected. First we call the web service without credentials and get a HTTP 401 unauthorized return. We make a call passing the first-party authentication credentials and our test web service returns the result we expect. We're now ready to configure the OAuth Authorization Code flow. We create a new client with the Create Client procedure in the OAuth package. We've given it the name EmpClient, but you would probably give it a name that represents the external company or application calling this service. We set the grant type to authorization code and we give it a list of privileges this client is set up for. For this example, the redirect and support URIs aren't real, but they'll allow us to work through the example. The redirect URI is the page that would receive the authorization code and continue with the authorization process. The User ORDS Clients view displays information about the client, including the client ID and client secret we'll use for authorization. These would have to be made available to the company or server that is attempting to authorize to the web service. The User ORDS Client Privileges view shows the relationship between the clients and privileges. We open a browser and go to a URL made up as follows: the base ORDS URL, the schema alias of HR, where the web service is served from, then /OAuth/auth. We're passing three parameters in the URL: the response type set to code, the client ID which we generated earlier, and state, which is just a unique string. When we use this URL, we get a 401 unauthorized page. Click the sign in link. The user of the application would now enter their login credentials and click the sign in button. ORDS then asks for approval to send the authorization code to the redirect URI. Click the Approve button. Because we cheated and didn't define a real redirect URI, we get a 404 not found message. But we can see the URL contains the authorization code, so we can use that to continue the authorization process at the command line. Before we can use the web service, we have to get a token. We do this with a URL to the schema alias with OAuth token appended to it. In place of the user credentials, we're passing the client ID and client secret associated with the OAuth client we created. These are separated by a colon. The data parameter is set to grant type authorization code with the code from the redirected URL appended. In the output we can see the access token of type bearer. Now we can make a call to the web service. We include a header containing the bearer token for authorization. When we run this, we get the output we'd expect from the web service. As mentioned before, this looks complicated, but it allows a calling application to authenticate to a web service without seeing the user credentials. The application just has to know the client ID and client secret that were registered for it and go through the user approval process to get the authorization code. Thanks for watching, As always, there are links to articles containing lots more information about this subject in the description box below.